Today is December 7th, 2020. The thing about suffering from HSD, I called it that Homo sapien domestication. Glenn, I'd like to thank you, Glenn. He said the word once, Human Domestication Syndrome. And I use that too now. But I can use those two separately. Because one is a little bit more all-encompassing than the other. And one can be used to describe things better. And I call mine like that because, because of human chauvinism, people that believe they're human are training each other to, they believe to be more human when it's actually to be less human, to lose their humanity, which is why I called it that. But it's people that suffer from this, which is, as I said, during my lifetime, 99.6% of the primates I encounter on the planet, is they don't realize, if I talk about it, that it's them. So I could be doing a TED Talk with a big audience, and yeah, that's what I noticed too. And they wouldn't realize that there's very likely, probably not even 1 to 2, 3, maybe in the audience, including me on the stage, that may be partially immune to it, but that everybody else is. It's like the 9 out of 10 bad drivers in society think they're the good ones. And here's a recent example, being in a car recently with 2 relatives. I'm driving and we're 3, okay? So we're 3 in the vehicle. Do the math. I want to discuss about having the radio and at what volume, and I know that there'd be arguments, so I just turn it off. I'm just tired because there's always arguments. And the reason for that is, out of the 3 is 2 are for the radio and 2 are against it. So do the math. And I'm drained emotionally, right, from interacting with relatives. And the reason is that 2 like the music and they sing along, while 1 of them, if the volume is over a tiny bit, and not even loud, it's really below average, way below average of what people usually listen to their radio in the car volumes at. But this CD, I have to admit that I made, has, songs of different volumes that you adjust. Sometimes when they come on, they're not the same. But it's a very simple thing to do. But even when it's a tiny bit too high, it's only for 1 person, and the other 2 are thinking, no, that's not high enough. But that person suffers from unacknowledged high levels of anxiety all her life. And the other person relates to this person about it. And so would take that side, even though that person, if that other person is not there, would be quite happy to listen to the radio with me and sing along, even though it's not even that loud. So with 3 people, cognitive dissonance explains why just talking about having a radio on or not is 2 against 2 with 3 people in the car. Another conversation from today is about getting all of these paper towels and huge amounts of toilet paper and Kleenex from Costco to a person's house. And how I'm the bad guy for just discussing, this is kind of weird, how it's moving from this store to this car, now back into this car, overnight in the car, it's cold. And then who should be paid, should be giving money to this. It's like, this is insane. And when I want to talk about it, I'm the bad guy. But when all the other ones talk about it, there's usually somebody who manipulated the whole thing to be complicated. And they think it's them, and they think it's them. So, but they don't realize the culprit is HSD, right? They say, oh no, when that person wants this, that person jumps, but that person didn't want that much. It's more that other person that just loves going to Costco. So HSD, I have to mention it if I'm in a conversation. Why was I forced into being part of this whole thing? And then I get to that person's house who says, oh no, the paper towels are more expensive than these napkins, so please use that. And say, what the hell? And the math isn't even accurate about that. Even if you include those paper towels having 1 car ride with the shortest distance between these relatives that believe they're part of a family. So it's really weird. So yesterday, was a day of high species alienation for me because there was a lot of triggers of relatives, and I don't use the word family, I use relatives. I'll explain that in another blog. How they did things to break my heart. And I'm at an age where I can explain why it breaks my heart, why this is so sad I'm treated like this, and how it's unfair, this judgment, and how they don't listen, and how I can explain feelings. And if I do that, oh man, just you saying this, I just explains how this is important to me, or I suffered this, and this is your response, it hurts me more. Now, being able to express feelings with people that have HSD, which is something that's easy to fall deeper into when you have zero emotional intelligence, you haven't become an adult, although you've had gray hairs for a few decades, is they believe there's something wrong with me. They all identify with each other more. They all talk about each other behind each other's back, and they did that a lot in my master's degree program too. Because all the teachers many of them were criticizing each other separately in the class, almost, or when we're in a group field trip, and backstabbing thing, and yet this is part of their elitist nature at the university. So they will all get together to fight me if I say, hey, I want my money back, I didn't get good quality education. So what's the use, right? Being the messenger when everybody suffers from HSD, and when relatives don't act like family, and I've been around them for 13 months now, and after yesterday, which was a bad day of HSD, is I can't see myself being very productive with homework and job search and planning my future. I just know I want to get away from them before Christmas, and I'm not a religious person, and the saving Christmas is more like saving the economy. It has nothing to do with the spirit of it all. And if we discuss the spirit of it all, we have to discuss how that holiday was stolen by that religion when it had earth-related meaning in the past. Anyways, I digress. I'm using that word correctly. But just the holiday season for me, a lot of the music, if it's not too religious, and the cheer moods and the lights, and for me, I enjoy it. I'd prefer, driving away from here, not knowing where I'm going, and maybe finding a stray dog and adopting him and listening to music in the car, and I'd be super happy. That'd be the best Christmas ever. It's not about shopping or being in groups of relatives that don't act like family just for consuming food and giving gifts that I don't need, and based on the gifts I get can totally prove that you don't know me at all, do you? So because it makes you sad, it ruins Christmas to be around relatives in this way. So I want to leave soon, but I think I'll be crying most of the week now because of all the triggers from yesterday, which were in big part. Allô? Allô? Je vais juste dire allô parce que des chiens, c'est comme des adultes. Ils veulent se présenter, ils veulent faire ami. Puis là, puis moi, j'arrête jamais. Je dis jamais allô à juste des adultes, puis pas le chien, parce que c'est un petit peu comme si on voit un ami puis leur enfant, puis là, on ignore l'enfant. C'est du trauma, là. C'est du trauma pour un chien. Quel âge qu'il a?
Il va avoir 4 mois la semaine prochaine.
Comment que... Elle s'appelle une femelle?
Non, c'est un mâle.
Un mâle?
C'est Flash.
Flash! Oh, allô, Flash! OK. Hey, donne la patte! Donne la patte!
Donne la patte!
Hey, donne la
Pas sûr.
Quel âge?
4 mois.
4 mois. Ouais. Bye, Flash! Puis toi, ton nom, c'est?
Martine.
Moi, c'est Martin. Bye! So, blog turned French a little bit. She didn't seem to mind. She knew I was pointing the phone. So to finish up, encounters like this, with strangers and animals that are naturally friendly, and strangers talking to people in airports is awesome. When you're traveling, just having a conversation with people that are curious, that have stories to tell, that want to hear other people's stories, the ones that resemble more human behaviors. It's really positive medicine. So yesterday, being sad so much, I needed to stay up late to watch videos of myself singing I enjoy, or of other things, other people singing like Elvis, and a lot of Saturday Night Live sketches that make me laugh, that are either some I know or new ones I discover. And then I did go to bed with a smile on my face. But the triggers from the family, including some that I just heard what they did on that day and not necessarily interacted with me, well, that made me so sad that was what my dreams were processing during the night, more than the laughter of the few hours pushing. But I still want to keep my habits of getting up early, so I didn't really sleep that well. But I know that just in one day, it would take me a week of crying just to catch up. And without my own place, to sometimes just feel safe to cry, is I never seem to catch up. I'm never, getting away from family is not just good for me, it's good for them, because they always want to shoot the messenger, My hands are cold, but I got gloves I'm trying to turn off.